Look at here. Here is the sternocostal surface of the heart. Here is the right pulmonary surface. Here is the left pulmonary surface. And let me put this back here. And here we have the diaphragmatic surface. And here you have the base of the heart or the posterior surface. Now the heart has three septi with 4 chambers. Let me show you the septi first. Look at this is the interatrial septum. This is the interatrial septum. Right here, you have the interventricular septum. I can't really show you the atrioventricular septum, but the atrioventricular septum is here. Okay, now put this back. And put this back here. Now, let's go with the, put this back here as well. Sternocostal surface. Most of the mainly sternocostal surface is made of, here is the right atrium, this is the right atrium. Right ventricle, and a small portion of the sternocostal surface is made of the left ventricle. So here you see the right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium. Look at this is the left atrium. What you see here, this is the left atrium. But through the sternocostal surface, you cannot see the left atrium. You can see only left auricle, as you see here. You can see only the left auricle. This is the right auricle. So the sternocostal surface is mainly formed by right atrium, right ventricle, to a small extent by the left ventricle. On this surface or this face, we have a anterior interventricular groove. In the anterior interventricular groove, we have great cardiac vein. Look at this is the great cardiac vein. And we have also the LAD, left anterior descending artery, which is a branch of the left coronary artery. This is left coronary artery. So we are done with the sternocostal surface.
It sits on the body as you're holding it right now, right?
Now, the heart, is good question, thank you. The heart sits in the body like this way. Okay? So the diaphragmatic surface horizontally sits on the diaphragm, like this. It doesn't sit like this in the body. It sits in the body this way. So let's look at here. What you see here is the diaphragmatic surface. Most of the diaphragmatic surface is made up by left ventricle, to a small extent by right ventricle. Here we see posterior interventricular groove in which we have the medium cardiac vein, or the medium side, or the middle cardiac vein. Let's put it, middle cardiac vein, and the PDA, posterior descending artery. Look at this one here. Look at this is the right coronary artery. We will cover coronary arteries in a separate lecture in detail. But look at this one. This is the right coronary artery arising from the ascending aorta. And this right coronary artery runs in the coronary sulcus and turns to the diaphragmatic surface. This is what? Right coronary artery. Here you see the coronary sulcus. Coronary sulcus separates base of the heart, or the posterior surface of the heart, from the diaphragmatic surface. Now here you see the posterior right half of the coronary sulcus. Posterior right half of the coronary sulcus, in which we have the right coronary artery and the small cardiac vein. You see, small cardiac vein. Right here we have what? Posterior interventricular sulcus. This is what? Coronary sulcus. Right here we have the interatrial sulcus. The junction between interatrial junction, posterior interventricular sulcus, and coronary sulcus is called crux of the heart. At the crux of the heart, the right coronary artery gives off its largest branch. This is called PDA, posterior descending artery. This is important because we describe a coronary circulation as right dominant, left dominant, and codominant based on the origin of the PDA. In this model, PDA is arising from the right coronary artery. So this is right dominant. If this arises from the left coronary artery, we will call it left dominant. If PDA equally arises from the
Codominant.
right and left coronary arteries, we call it
Codominant.
codominant. So this is what? Coronary sulcus, which marks what? Atrioventricular septum. Atrioventricular septum. And most anterior part of the coronary sulcus is hidden by pulmonary trunk and aorta. But still, you can see the coronary sulcus here, in which you have the proximal parts of the coronary arteries. Now, look at here. On the posterior right half of the coronary sulcus, we have the small cardiac vein and the right coronary artery. On the posterior left half of the coronary sulcus, we have the coronary sinus. This is the coronary sinus, which drains the 60% of the venous blood of the heart. To where? To right atrium. To right atrium. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, here, put this back here, very good. the base of the right atrium receives three vessels: superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and the coronary sinus. Coronary sinus. There is a vein here. Can you see this valve? Training on the posterior aspect of the superior vena cava. This is called azygos. Azygos vein. Azygos means asymmetric. Now, the venous blood from the thoracic organs, except the heart, and structures forming the thoracic wall, return to the superior vena cava through the azygos vein. Again, venous blood of the thoracic organs, except the heart, and the venous blood of the azygos. That's correct. Thoracic wall is returned to the inferior vena cava through the azygos vein. This is the azygos vein. Okay. Now, so this is what? Right atrium. So the presence of superior and inferior vena cava shows us the right side of the heart, right half of the heart. Okay? If I ask you which side is the right side of the heart, you will say this side. Why? Because you have the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava here. Now, the base of the heart, or the posterior surface of the heart, is formed by mainly the left atrium. You see, this is the left atrium. Left atrium receives the pulmonary veins. These are right pulmonary veins. These are left pulmonary veins. And also, to a small extent, formed by the right atrium. Right atrium.
The posterior surface.
Yeah. And also, proximal parts of the major arteries, which are superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, pulmonary trunk, and aorta. So these structures all make up the base of the heart. So the base of the heart contains or includes the left atrium, right atrium, and pulmonary trunk, aorta, pulmonary veins as well, pulmonary veins, and aorta. So these major vessels make up the base of the heart. Okay, now let's look inside the heart. Let's look at inside the heart. I open the right atrium. Just put it there and listen to me.
I can't see properly, so I look at
Okay. Now, look at them. Here we have the pectinate muscles. Remember, these are the muscular projections of the myocardium into heart cavity or the atrial cavities. This is called pectinate muscles. Now, there is a crista here. We call this a terminal crest. This is the terminal crest. Terminal crest. This is the terminal crest. Terminal crest divides the right atrium into an anterior half, into a posterior half. We will see this in the lecture when we go up. The The posterior part is called sinus venarum cavarum. This one, sinus venarum cavarum, which receives superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and the coronary sinus. It is the coronary sinus, opening of the ostium for coronary sinus. Now, on the atrium proper, main part of the right atrium, you have the pectinate muscles. Again, the terminal crest or the crista terminalis splits or the divide, not completely but partially, separates the right atrium into a posterior part that is called sinus venarum cavarum, which receives the superior and inferior vena cava, also the opening of the coronary sinus. And the sinus venarum cavarum is smooth, but the atrium proper is rough. These are the muscular projection called pectinate muscles. Pectinate muscles. The right atrium, look at here, has the atrioventricular orifice, right atrioventricular orifice. At the right atrioventricular orifice, there is a valve. This is called tricuspid valve, or
Right anterior.
very good, right atrioventricular valve. Right atrioventricular valve. And then right here, look at right here, we have the interatrial septum. On the interatrial septum, during the fetal life, there is an opening here. This opening is called oval foramen. Oval foramen has a left. You can call it left. Okay, this left
Leaf.
leaf. Yeah, leaf. You can leave. Yeah.
Okay.
It is left or leaf.
Yaprak.
Yeah, yaprak. Okay, so it has the leaf. On the leaf there is a opening. It's called oval window or the oval foramen. This leaf actually, what happens before the birth, the blood pressure is higher on the right side of the heart. Blood pressure lower on the left side of the heart. Okay? Because before the birth, the lungs do not work. So no blood comes to the left atrium. So there is a low blood pressure within the left half of the heart. Okay? So there is a high pressure in the right half of the heart before the parturition or the birth. So this left is pushed into the left atrium. But after the birth, the blood pressure in the left half of the heart becomes more than the right half of the heart. So what happens? This left is pushed on the oval foramen to the interatrial septum, and this oval foramen is closed up. But sometimes this closure may not be complete. In that case, we talk about the atrial septal defect. Atrial septal defect. Okay. So this is what we have with the right atrium. Now let's look at the left ventricle. Left ventricle. Now this is the right ventricle. Right ventricle. It is the interventricular septum, the muscular part of the interventricular septum. Remember, its upper part
Membranous.
has a membranous part with a gradually closing opening in it. If the opening in the membranous part of the interventricular septum is not closed up completely, then we talk about the ventricular septal defect. Ventricular septal defect. Now, muscular processes into the ventricle are called trabeculae here. Here we have three types of trabeculae. The first type attaches to the ventricle wall through the ends and the belly, just like this. Okay? The second type attaches to the ventricle wall through the ends, but not through the venter or the belly. This is called second type, breech type trabeculae. Third type trabeculae attached to the ventricular wall through the one end, as you see here, and through the other end, they attach to tendinous cords. What you see here, these are the tendinous cords. Look at here. Here you have the tendinous cords. This third type trabeculae is called papillary muscles. Papillary muscles. You know the papilla means, right? Nibble. Or the fingertip is called papilla. So here you have papillary muscles. In the right ventricle, we have three papillary muscles: anterior, posterior, and septal. Anterior, this model doesn't really show them.
Have we covered these today?
We will cover.
Not yet, I mean, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, we will cover. So this is we have the three papillary muscles: anterior, posterior, and septal papillary muscles. So this papillary muscles is a type of trabeculae, but they attach to the ventricular wall with their one end, and with their other end they attach to the tendinous cords. These are the tendinous cords. Look at, these are the tendinous cords right here. So these tendinous cords actually attach cusps to the papillary muscles. Papillary muscles. So during the systole, atrioventricular valves do not collapse. Back into the atria. So the blood does not flow from ventricle back into the atria. Okay? And in the right ventricle, there is an entrance that is the right atrioventricular orifice guided by tricuspid valve. There is an exit that is the pulmonary valve. The pulmonary valve is a semilunar valve and has three semilunar cusps. Three semilunar cusps. Look at this one. This is the anterior semilunar cusp. This is the right semilunar cusp. Here is the left semilunar cusp. Closing up what? Pulmonary ostium, or the pulmonary orifice. Pulmonary orifice. Okay. Now let's look at the left atrium. Here is the left atrium. Left atrium makes up anterior wall of the oblique pericardial sinus, right? Right here you have the oblique pericardial sinus right here. So the left atrium makes up anterior wall of the oblique pericardial sinus. Pericardial sinus is right here. I mean, right? Bounded by right pulmonary veins and the inferior vena cava on the right, by the left pulmonary veins on the left. Very good. And let's so the left. Put this here. You're bothering me. Now, the left atrium receives the the pulmonary veins. So there are 4 ostia for the opening of the pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins. Okay, you can see the ostia for the pulmonary veins here. And there is one opening here. This is called what? Left atrioventricular orifice. Left atrioventricular orifice. Guided by bicuspid or the mitral valve. Okay? Now, these valves actually attach around the orifice to the skeleton of the heart. We have the skeleton of the heart on the atrioventricular septum. Okay. Now let's look at the left ventricle. Left ventricle has 2 papillary muscles. The anterior, this is the anterior and the posterior papillary muscles. And chorda tendinae, these are the chorda tendinae or the tendinous cords. They attach to the papilla.
With the gold things?
Exactly, these are the tendinous cords or the chorda tendinae. They are very strong fibers that attach cusps, atrioventricular valve cusps to the papillary muscles. In the left ventricle, we have anterior and posterior papillary muscles because the bicuspid valve has an anterior cusp and a posterior cusp, which are attached to the anterior papillary muscle and posterior papillary muscle, respectively, by chorda tendinae, or the tendinous cords. And here, you have one entrance to the left ventricle, that is the left atrioventricular orifice, guided by mitral valve or the bicuspid valve. And it has one exit, that is the aortic orifice. You can see the aortic orifice. Can you see? Here is the aortic orifice. You see that? That is the aortic orifice. Aortic orifice is guided by aortic valve. Aortic valve, very similar to the pulmonary valve, has 3 semilunar cusps. Okay? It's like this. Look at this one here. Is not really posterior, but close to posterior location. So this is called posterior semilunar cusp. So the pulmonary valve has anterior, aortic valve has posterior semilunar cusp. Again, this is not really located posteriorly. You can see that from the model. And then you have the right semilunar cusp, and here you have the left semilunar cusp. Now again, since posterior semilunar cusp in the aortic valve is not really located posteriorly, there is another naming of the semilunar cusps. This way. Now, right above the, or the just above the right semilunar cusp, right coronary artery arises from the ascending aorta. This one arises. So this right coronary cusp is called right coronary cusp.
You just said the same thing.
Well, the right semilunar cusp is called
Right coronary cusp.
right coronary cusp,
Okay.
RCC.
Okay.
Similarly, just above the
Left coronary.
left semilunar cusp, left coronary artery arises. So this is called LCC, left coronary cusp.
Okay.
No coronary artery arises above the posterior semilunar cusp. So you call this one non-coronary cusp, NCC. That's easy to remember, right?
Yeah.
So the right semilunar is the RCC, left semilunar cusp is the LCC, posterior semilunar cusp, NCC, because no coronary arteries arise above the posterior semilunar cusp. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is what I have to show you here. Now here we have a heart of a cow. No, cow is probably this is 700 or 800 kilograms. How I can tell this is, I mean,
Not big enough.
7 times of a fist, something like that. Maybe it's 7, I'm not sure, but certainly not 1,200 kilograms, something like that. In that case, it would be much bigger. But here, the heart of a cow or horse or sheep or goat, very similar to human. They have the same, exactly the same anatomical features, except the heart of the cow is much, much bigger than ours. Okay, now here, look at this one. I can see the, right here, I can see the pulmonary veins. You see these ones here? The pulmonary veins here. Pulmonary veins. I can see pulmonary veins here, here. And then, look at this one. Here you have the aorta. Here you have the aorta. Here you have the pulmonary trunk. This is the superior vena cava. Here is the superior vena cava. And you have the, look at here. Here you have the right atrium. Here you have the left atrium, left ventricle, and right ventricle.
His heart is ripped.
Hmm?
His heart is ripped.
What?
It's
There is
ripped.
a rip on.
This one.
Yeah, that's why I know.
Can you see inside?
No, it's not opened. Okay,
Can I see the inferior vena cava?
I can see the inferior vena cava.
It's not there yet. There.
I mean, kind of closed up. Could be this one here, right here. But I can't see that.
Can we look inside with a flashlight to see what's in there?
You can try. You can try.
What is the?
Hold on.
Can you see?
It's empty.
Yeah, I can. Hold on. Can I take a picture?
Sure, you can.
Take a picture, come on. Video flash. Yeah, video. Okay, it's fine.
You can see even the valve over there. That is the, you see, I can see the cusps. You can see the cusps. You use the light, can you use the light? I will show you the cusps. You see down here? Down there, yeah, you can see the cusp. You see, those are the cusps over there.
Odaklamıyor oraya ama.
Ama görünüyor aslında.
Evet evet görünüyor.
Can you see the cusps over there?
Hocam bir ateşi çekebilir misiniz?
Insane setup.
Professional surgeon Beray Bacak.
Okay.
Şu ortaya biri tıklayabilir mi?
Şu an böyle fotoğrafını çekiyorum.
Çek. Yes.
Yeah. You captured the valve.
Yeah.
That is the tricuspid valve. That is the tricuspid valve. Okay.
Beray'ın emekleri.
Okay, now let's go up and continue.